All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Cleanspark, stock ticker CLSK. They are a Bitcoin mining company. We cover Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners quite a bit on this channel, so if you are new to the channel, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody would please smash the like button, that helps the channel out a lot, and we appreciate it. Let's talk about Cleanspark. I want to talk about a few things. They gave their operational update for March, so I want to go through that, and they had some other big news throughout the month, and I want to take a look at their valuation and that kind of stuff, and we'll look at the chart and talk price target. So let's start out by looking at their March operational update. March monthly production. So okay, in March they mined 318 Bitcoin. So that is their all-time record. Calendar year-to-date production is 898. So that's their first quarter production. So Q1 they mined just under 900 Bitcoin. Total BTC holdings at March 31st, 420. So as most of you probably know, Cleanspark is not a Bitcoin hodler. They intend to have a balanced approach to this on a going forward basis and increase their balance sheet and hodl supply over time, but they will continue to use Bitcoin on a monthly basis to fund the growth of their operations. This kind of separates them from most of the other Bitcoin miners. I think there's a few others now starting to gravitate closer to this type of a model, but most of the traditional larger Bitcoin miners are still hodling anywhere between the vast majority and 100% of their Bitcoin on a monthly basis. So here, the next line, you'll see total BTC converted for operations and growth in March, 391. So that is a big number. Later, we're going to take a look at what they're spending that on, because they're spending it not only on monthly operations, but they're spending it on growing the hash rate for the company. And obviously, that is the core mission of all of these Bitcoin miners. The hash rate race is on, and those who don't keep up will not survive. Okay, currently deployed fleet of over 23,000 latest generation Bitcoin miners with a total hash rate of 2.3 exahash. Cleanspark had just begun mining in December of 2020, so March of 2021 was a very small month. So the year-over-year growth is astronomical, and that's good, but what is more important is, what is the month-over-month growth? Are they progressing from a month-to-month basis? So in the month of February, they mined 276 Bitcoin. Now remember, February has 3 less days than March, so that is one of the reasons that was lower. However, they did mine more Bitcoin per day in March than they did in February. So not only did they mine more in total due to more days, but they mined more in total because they were mining more per day. So 318 is their all-time record, and they added 0.1 exahash. They were at 2.2 exahash at the end of February. They're at 2.3 exahash at the end of March. We're going to look at their total exahash, because they're targeting much, much bigger numbers than this over the course of time. Okay, so just to note, Cleanspark Norcross campus saw significant progress during March with the 600 immersion-cooled S19J Pros hashing as of March 31st. The company has experienced delays with its utility partner related to weather and construction. All the machines needed to fill the facility to capacity have been received and are being prepped for immersion cooling and deployment. The company expects the number of machines hashing to rapidly increase over the coming quarter. So they're moving into immersion cooling. It looks like they've experienced some slight delays. They'll have to keep us updated on that on a monthly basis. Okay, next I want to go to this page from their investor presentation. This was in March of 2022. So these are the results as of December 31st, 2021. At December 31st, 2021, Cleanspark was at 1.9 exahash of machines up and running. So you'll see, as of that date, they had $117.7 million in deposits out on future deliveries. The remaining commitment to get those machines is $39 million. And again, remember, we saw them convert a lot of Bitcoin in January and February and March, and a big portion of that is paying off this $39 million. But you can see these machines were mostly paid for as of December 31st. So under contract and under payment is 21,994 machines to be delivered in 2022. That's 2.17 exahash. In addition to the 1.9 they had at year end, that puts them at 4 exahash by December 31st, 2022. And that does not take into account any other mining machines that they may buy on the spot market throughout the year 2022. Cleanspark is one of several companies that's very opportunistic in buying the latest and greatest machines on the spot market. So I think we'll expect to see them exceed 4 exahash, and ultimately they're talking about numbers much bigger than this. They have reiterated it's their goal to be one of the top 5 Bitcoin miners. So really, in order to be in that conversation, sometime by the end of 2023, they're going to have to be somewhere in the 15 to 20 exahash range, or maybe more. They went from 0.2 exahash to 2.3 exahash in about a year, and we know they're going to at least double that this year, if not more. The other important thing is they've done this through the use of their Bitcoin. So this company only has 40 million shares of stock outstanding. That is very low versus their peers in the industry. They have not used equity to fund their growth to the extent that the other companies have. They may use that going forward. They've talked about the fact that they want to try to use a combination of their Bitcoin mining, which is their revenue, as well as debt and equity to get to where they're going. So they do expect to use all three of those mechanisms, but they've been very careful with their at-the-market shelf offering in order to protect shareholders from dilution. So that is one of their core missions. This is just a note. CleanSpark among the top 50 fastest growing companies. The company earned a top spot on the Financial Times list of 500 fastest growing companies in the Americas. Now, just two quick things I wanted to note on this. So they came in at number 44, which is very impressive. The bigger thing to me is this was based on their growth from 2017 to 2020. 90% of their growth happened in 2021. So they were already one of the fastest growing companies before the year 2021. So when this list comes out next year, they will be significantly better. They're increasing their revenue and exahash, and I've done some deeper dives on that in previous videos if you want to take a look at that. This really reinforces the fact that this is a very, very high growth company. The other thing they announced was CleanSpark to expand mining operations in Texas with up to 500 megawatts of renewable power. Now, I did a video specifically on this, so if you want a deeper dive, you can check that out. But essentially, in a nutshell, they're going to have 200 megawatts in the first phase of what they're doing, and they have an option for another 300 megawatts past that. And understand they have less than 100 megawatts right now, so this represents a monumental growth in their access to energy, which is going to allow them, again, remember, they want to be a top 5 Bitcoin miner. So with 500 megawatts of renewable power, they will have access to enough power to easily become one of the top 5 Bitcoin mining companies over the next few years. Now, that's only one piece of the puzzle. There's infrastructure and there's Bitcoin mining machines. So this is where they just begin, but they're saying right here, the expansion at full deployment adds up to 16 exahash, and that's full deployment of the 200 megawatts. So there's 300 megawatts past that. So you can see this is going to allow them to grow exponentially. So with that said, if we look at where they're at today, they're trading at $9.61. Their market cap is $398 million, so they're under $400 million. I'm just going to do a little review of their market cap over time. So this is their market cap over the last 2 years. You'll see that on January 4th of 2021, and remember, they were only mining about 40 Bitcoin per month back then. Now they're over 300. This company had a valuation of $1 billion. Now, there was a big bubble in high growth companies at that time, so this may have been out ahead of itself. However, on November 8th, when Bitcoin hit its all-time high, they were at about $860 million valuation. So that is more than double where they are today, even though today they're a much bigger company. Now, obviously, Bitcoin is not at its all-time high, so we'll see where that goes over time. But this is a highly profitable, they have a very high gross profit margin, even with Bitcoin at $40,000. So again, this is not financial advice, but in my opinion, for this company to have its value cut in half, I think represents them being oversold. That's how I'm viewing this. You guys need to do your own due diligence. We'll take a look at the chart and look at some numbers. Okay, so if we look at this chart, this is the CleanSpark chart on the 4-hour time frame. So each one of these candles is 4 hours. Basically, this green line right here goes back to February 25th. Bitcoin bottomed out on February 24th. Since that day, this green line at just above $9 has held as support. It did test this a couple of times and it held as support. We had a very big run up and now we've had a very big pullback. So CleanSpark is currently less than 6% away from its line of support. So when I'm looking at risk reward, this has been a pretty strong line of support. So barring Bitcoin plummeting, the reasonable risk of this is about 6% to the downside. Now, obviously, it could be more than that. We've seen this get all the way down to $5.66 back in January of 2022, which was not that long ago. So, this is the risk I associate. However, obviously, the risk of every stock is going to zero. Conversely, if we look at the upside on this, just 3 weeks ago, CleanSpark was trading at almost $14 a share. So that would represent over a 45% increase from its share price right now. And remember, it closed at $9.61. And even this $14 a share is nowhere near its recent high or its all-time high. So this would be my price target number one. For me, I'm looking at this as a fairly short-term price target sometime in the next 60 to 90 days, maybe sooner than that, depending on the movement of Bitcoin. So if we zoom out further, if I go back to November 3rd, which was CleanSpark's all-time high, which was just a few days before Bitcoin hit its all-time high, that would represent a 143% increase in the price of this stock. And remember, they've done very little stock dilution. So this is a reasonable price target if Bitcoin gets healthy and starts to push over 50,000 and maybe starts to approach 60,000. I do not believe Bitcoin has to get back to its all-time high for CleanSpark to get back to its all-time high. Again, this is my opinion. It's not financial advice, but they were just trading at this range on November 3rd. If I call that a one-year price target, that's 143% potential to the upside. So from my view, the risk reward on this looks good. They're about 6 or 7% from their very solid line of support. They're about 45% to the upside away from just their recent high of 3 weeks ago, and then the potential over the year to maybe do a double or more. So I've got an arrow basically running here. You can see CleanSpark's general direction, really since January 11th, it bottomed out on January 24th and then again on the 27th. But you can see in general, CleanSpark has been on the move to the upside. That is the trend all year this year. So this has been a nice pullback. They're very close to a line of support. So for me, I'm viewing this as a buying opportunity. Again, you guys got to do your own risk reward analysis and make your own buying decisions. But I will be looking to average in at around $9 myself. So that's my quick update on CleanSpark. Hope everybody enjoys the long weekend, and thanks so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and please smash the like button. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.